on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So it's Friday, it's the weekend, we did it. Pleasure to have you back on the show today. If we have a look at what is happening in the markets today, nothing at all. Are you guys surprised? Not really, I'm sure at this point. Having a look at what's going on today, we do see Bitcoin dominance is still falling to 52.7%. The market cap is around $120 billion with a $3,617 Bitcoin. Ethereum still in second place, $122, 30 cent XRP, and Litecoin, $41.93. Now, if we have a look at the biggest gainers of the day, we have Dent, not Dent to Coin, up 25%, almost 26%. Crypto.com, 15%. Ontology, 15% as well. Now, Ontology actually might be increasing today because Binance just listed Ontology Gas, which is why Ontology Gas is going buck wild today at 53%. But that's pretty much that situation. We also have Aurora, Tezos, Binance, Repo, KuCoin, and Status all doing well today. Unfortunately, as far as our buddy Bitcoin goes, it is just ever struggling to just maintain really anything right now. It's just kind of slowly falling off. So we're paying attention. We're just looking at it. I mean, not much to say here, guys. I mean, if you guys are interested in my opinion about this, go watch my video from 3 days ago. So not yesterday or the day before, but the day before. Check that video out, and I will tell you what I think about everything that's going on right now in price. Now, I want to continue a little bit about what we were speaking about yesterday. So this is sort of like a continuation of yesterday's video. Just the first half, if you guys want to go to the other half of the video, there's a whole bunch of stuff at the end, including, I'm pretty sure, a potential exit scam, possibly from another crypto, which we will get into. But let's start with this. Now, you guys might be familiar with Nouriel Roubini. He's the economist that really just loves to bash Bitcoin. He's pretty much referred to as Dr. Doom in the space. Well, he came out and is actually saying some stuff about JP Morgan's crypto too, which is ironic. It's almost like, wait, are you on our side? So basically, he was saying that it's not a true cryptocurrency. Now, we do know that this is a serious issue because this coin could potentially replace the bank's reliance on SWIFT, which is the legacy messaging network, which was established in 1973 and currently connects over 11,000 financial institutions. Obviously, this is what Ripple and XRP are also trying to solve, which we'll get into that in just a second. But they start this article by saying, while the banks are on the move, they're not necessarily embracing the open and trustless cryptocurrency paradigm shift that could render them obsolete. Instead, they're finding a new wedge in between the old and the new. But according to Dr. Doom, he says that calling JPM Coin a crypto is a real stretch. As you can see right here, he says, in which way has the new alleged JP Morgan crypto coin anything to do with blockchain or crypto? It's a private, not public, permissioned, not permissionless, based on trusted authorities, verifying transaction, not trustless, centralized, not decentralized. Calling it a crypto is a joke. So, you know, normally this guy bashes on crypto and blockchain, but he actually seems to be sort of, rhyming with a lot of the way that people are feeling in the space right now. So the question is, but what if a central authority like JP Morgan issues a digital asset? And what if the digital asset is issued on a private ledger that's not decentralized? Is it a crypto? Or is it just a virtual currency? Or does it even matter, right? So, you have Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies like Litecoin and Dash and even the Bitcoin Cash spinoffs, right? That were inspired by the idea of creating a peer-to-peer network where people can send and receive money free of middlemen or interference to achieve an open financial system that is not controlled, created, or regulated by the banks or subject to any third-party manipulations. Banks can't be the ones in charge, right? So by creating a private permission blockchain for JPM Coin, however, JP Morgan is in charge, right? So that's just basically pointing that out. Now you'll see some of these these are all the different remarks that people had in response. So that's correct, Satoshi. A private blockchain is nothing more than a hyped up database. I don't always agree with your position, but on this one, you're 100% right on the money. I'll keep my Bitcoin and my smaller coins over anything that the bank could offer me. Then you have Blake saying, yes, for once we agree. Thank you. Bitcoin is the only crypto that matters. Litecoin is the testnet. We also have Barry Silbert, founder of CEO and Digital Currency Group. You guys know Barry Silbert. If you don't, you obviously haven't watched my video on the gatekeepers of crypto. But anyway, he's owner of Genesis Global Trading and Grayscale. Now, he called out the coin as well, basically saying that it's on par with AOL's rival that got canned in 1999. He says, congrats to JP Morgan on launching Prodigy version 2.0. Some people may not know what I'm talking about, but if you were around, you know what we're talking about. So then you have Coin Center's director of communications, and he says, all I see here is a new wave of having to explain the difference between a closed gate and a closed gated system and an open public system. Then obviously you have Pompliano. He was pretty pumped about it. Yeah, so Whale Panda says, on a serious note, I think the JP Morgan thing is in long term is a positive thing for Bitcoin. Let them play around with their stablecoin. Once we get more mainstream, the cryptocurrency infrastructure already sort of exists. And somebody said, did anyone expect them to go from dollars to Bitcoin straight away? Got to experiment first, right? So obviously in the wake of the experiment, Bitcoiners are calling Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency, a sleeping giant, a Trojan horse, and the real thing. Crypto enthusiast and chief strategy officer at Rhythm Technologies takes a bird's eye view, and he said JP Morgan is creating their own currency called JPM Coin. They will be the first US bank to use a digital token to settle transactions between clients. At first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then they just buy Bitcoin. So that was pretty much that situation. So Nouriel Roubini, yeah, he usually maybe he just doesn't like anything related to anything crypto. Like, I mean, he's pretty much come out and said blockchain is worthless, right? Now, I mean, you've heard people say blockchain, not Bitcoin, right? These people are very skeptical. That dude is just like, nah, not even blockchain, right? So here's another take on it. Now, you have Joe Weisenthal, the host of Bloomberg's What'd You Miss? And he says, if it turns out that blockchain coin framework turns out to be a good one for banks transferring money around, then the JPM coin could absolutely obliterate Ripple. Now, we kind of touched on this yesterday, but now more people are kind of having opinions on this, right? He says, think about it. Let's say you were in a business of transferring money. Why would you take on the exchange rate volatility risk associated with having Ripple as a bridge currency when you could have a fiat coin backed by JP Morgan? No brainer. I mean, XRP is like a 3-second transfer. I don't really know how much rate volatility you're really going to get in 3 seconds, but we'll take this with a grain of salt. Obviously, you have the Ripple blockchain network. They explain it is a payment infrastructure for cross-chain border transactions. The value of any settlement network comes from its liquidity, right? And in banking networks, the liquidity comes from the number of banks that exist on the network. So the concerns of industry executives and experts on the long-term growth trend of XRP is that if JP Morgan does use this coin to settle payments between its client, as the bank said, it's going to put it potentially in direct competition with XRP. This is what they're saying, right? Now, we know that they're very different. We've already established the fact that, clearly theirs is going to be centralized and closed, and it's going to be a stable coin. There's already a lot of differences right there, right off the bat, right? So essentially, you have JPM Coin and Ripple having the same use case, which is targeting the same market, and are both aiming to overtake the SWIFT network. So you have Tushar Jain. He's a general partner at Multicoin Capital, and he said that JP Morgan will wipe the floor with Ripple, emphasizing that banks would rather use a technology developed by banks rather than a company outside of the traditional financial sector. So he may have a point here. So here's an interesting thing. Now, we're going to take a little trip down memory lane, okay? So back in 2016, 4 of the world's biggest banks revealed plans to launch what was known as Utility Settlement Coin. Not the first time that we've heard of a bank trying to do this, right? So it was a digital asset designed to streamline cross-border transactions, boosting speed and lowering fees. Sounds quite familiar, doesn't it? Well, UBS introduced the idea alongside Deutsche Bank, Santander, BNY Mellon. In addition, you have Next, Barclays, CIBC, Credit Suisse, HSBC, MUFG, and State Street are now on board. A test phase was set to launch this year, but few details have come out about it. And we really haven't heard anything, right? So when the Utility Settlement Coin, which I guess at this point we could just call it the USC, was announced, You had Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. He had actually wrote an opinion piece about what he thought at the time, and this was entitled The Case Against Bankcoin. Now, these are some of the things that were said. It says a bank-issued digital asset can only really efficiently settle between the banks who issued it. Then, two scenarios can play out. Scenario one, all banks around the world put aside competitive and geopolitical differences, adopt the same digital asset, agree on its rules, and harmoniously govern its usage, which he says fat chance. Scenario two, the more likely one, is that banks not in the issuing group issue their own digital currencies or assets, whatever, with their own sets of rules and governance. So, if the banks of different digital asset groups want to settle trades with one another, they'll have to make markets between their unique digital assets or trade between their digital assets and a common fiat currency. This could complicate things. The second thing is if you have the utility settlement coin or USC, it seems it'll be backed by a basket of currencies. Once backed by cash, it's no longer an asset, it's a liability. Trading liabilities then ultimately requires moving cash across borders, recreating today's system, but adding more friction. So according to Garlinghouse, independent digital assets give banks the best shot at truly bringing payment systems into the modern era, and he believes XRP is the digital asset that will make it happen. He says, we strongly believe banks need an independent digital asset to enable truly efficient settlement, and we believe XRP is positioned for that role, okay? It goes back to the fundamentals of what makes digital assets unique and special. They're universal currencies, meaning anyone can use them as units of value anywhere in the world. That universality gives digital assets global reach and the ability to settle much faster than traditional assets. But wait, hold on. Before you guys get going too far, it looks like Craig Wright already owns a patent, and JP Morgan, you guys are screwed. So let's dive into this, okay? Craig Wright, if you guys don't know who he is by now, chief scientist at nChain, Bitcoin SV proponent, and self-proclaimed Satoshi Nakamoto, is in the news again, and this time he is going after JP Morgan. So he had a tweet calling them out, to which he said, hey, JP Morgan, patent 32, DFAs, oh, you didn't check? I have patents on what you want to do. Have a nice life. So, he replied to his tweet by attaching a patent titled Systems and Methods for Implementing Deterministic Finite Automata DFAs via a Blockchain. So apparently this is patent number WO 2018-078584AI. I'm not going to go into what it's all about. You guys can read this, but when asked on Twitter about the patents that directly go against the JPM coin, he pretty much just responded with DFAs. So what is a DFA? Well, it's a very technical thing, but if you're curious, it is a mathematical model of computation conceived as an abstract machine which can be in one of a finite set of states and can change from one state to another when a triggering event or condition occurs. Its computational capabilities are more than those of combinational logic but less than those of a stack machine. Totally, right? Obviously. Well, long story short, guys, he's saying that he owns these patents, so it's definitely crazy. I'm not surprised to see fake Toshi out here doing this again, making a stir in the news. In fact, it's been quite an eventful week for him. He got into a fight on Twitter with actually Julian Assange over WikiLeaks, to which he was calling Craig Wright a serial fabricator. So pretty much never ends with this dude, right? Now, also on top of that, in a YouTube video, you have Jimmy Song also expressing a bunch of reasons why he thinks that Craig Wright's Bitcoin SV doesn't cross the threshold as an authentic cryptocurrency. So he goes on to say that, you know, Craig Wright isn't exactly a straightforward guy. He's been all over the news claiming to be the real Satoshi Nakamoto, and yet has obviously failed to prove it. He's also claiming to have the patents on the JPM Morgan coin, as we just saw. And, you know, with nothing of value to offer, he basically only uses social signaling to marshal his followers in support of BSV. And that's not something a smart investor wants to buy into. And in Jimmy's own words, he says, Craig has been a con artist for a very long time, and his association with Bitcoin SV should raise eyebrows. On that, Jimmy points out that ever since Bitcoin SV came into being, there's been no development on its network. They don't offer any open source software or attract any development. The whole thing is based on the word of one guy, Craig, that doesn't provide proof of anything. To be honest with you, I don't personally follow Bitcoin SV. I don't know if this statement is true or what they're doing with development. I don't really have an interest in it. I don't own any of it. I don't plan on owning any of it. So that's pretty much my like take on it if you guys like want to know. But you know, if you like it, hey, you like it. I don't have a problem. You want to own SV, own it, you know. But in Jimmy's opinion, the behavior of the two principal supporters of BSV, which are Calvin Ayre and Craig Wright, you know, it hasn't actually been quite appealing. First, they tried to pull a scam by faking a signature claiming Craig is Satoshi, which failed. Also, they've been throwing a lot of threats everywhere while they've engaged in a supremacy war against Bitcoin Cash ABC, Bitcoin Cash, the original, well, it depends on the... Anyway, granted, Bitcoin SV has some supporters, but Jimmy doesn't understand why anyone would want to support a scam. He suspects that the influential people in the BSV camp might have been paid off. Ooh, those are some allegations right there. So, now guys, talking about Bitcoin SV. So, if you were holding Bitcoin on your Coinbase account and you held it during... Well, actually, Bitcoin Cash, excuse me. I'm sorry. If you were holding Bitcoin Cash during the split, you should have been issued your Bitcoin Cash SV. What you choose to do with it is up to you. Let's see what are people doing with it today, actually. What is BSV doing? If it's dumping today, that definitely says that people are selling. It's down 2%. Not really a major big deal, but yeah, I would assume that a lot of people are probably selling. But anyway, long story short, finally, after 3 months of waiting, we have our Bitcoin SV handed out to people on Coinbase. So, here's an interesting thing. It looks like they spoke to an inside contact of Coinbase, and they asked them why they decided against giving Bitcoin SV an exchange listing. This is someone, now they say this is someone high up to have enough role in the decision-making process, and they agreed to give the blunt truth if they do not disclose their name. Now, I highlighted this, not an official company statement on the issue. This is just one person's opinion, okay? And we don't even have a name to the source because they want to remain anonymous. So before we go into this, you must know that this is how we're starting off this article. So, the insider says, honestly, if you asked this a couple months ago, we may have said, sure, we'd likely add Bitcoin SV to Coinbase or Coinbase Pro, why not? But as we evaluated it, it seems like 90% of Bitcoin SV mentions in the press were part of articles covering something erratic its founder was doing or saying. Almost any article that mentions Bitcoin SV also includes something or someone that Craig is going to war with, et cetera, right? All that aside, the analysts here also believe that the historical trading data on Bitcoin SV showed patterns that, in his opinion, looked like supporters emotionally buying and haters organizing coordinated dumps. As our engineering teams finished up the back end allowing people to access their BSV, we had all these factors to take into consideration. It's already down to half the price of Bitcoin Cash. Craig seems willing to run it to zero on this bad press tour, and the market data is erratic. The decision that followed was no surprise. Also, this individual added, do we really need to feature 3 coins that split our community into 3 different groups, arguing over which is the real Bitcoin? He says, I remember when Bitcoin Cash was launching, I had a lunch meeting with the CEO of a massive Silicon Valley company, which he doesn't name, but he says, he asked me, what is this Bitcoin civil war I read about yesterday? After explaining and answering questions, his whole attitude changed. He was in disbelief that someone could even legally pull off Roger Vere's campaign to devalue the real Bitcoin, along with his ownership of Bitcoin.com, where he is selling his new coin simply as Bitcoin, or he was at the time. It was like, in a span of 10 minutes, this respected person in tech went from taking cryptocurrency seriously to seeing it as a bunch of crazy kids with a lot to figure out. He says, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist by any means, and I believe it's very possible another coin will one day overtake the original Bitcoin. He says, but I'm also convinced that the coin will not be Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin SV, and all this will go down in history as nothing more than the experiments that established a coin cannot be replaced by a new one just by using its name. So I know that was a lot for the intro, guys, but that was basically like the big topics of today. I wanted to talk about the JP Morgan issue. Is it going to be an issue with XRP? Do we need to be worried? Should they be worried about Craig? But then I also wanted to just talk a little bit about the situation with the Bitcoin SV getting listed. So you kind of see how I rolled that all into one, guys. As you know, if you're brand new to the channel, if that was a lot for you, I always put timestamps below. You could jump to any part of the video you want, okay? So just letting you guys know. I know I put a lot of information in these things. So also, this came out from Casper Casper Sky Labs, they say about 10% of people have used Bitcoin. Really? 10% of people have used Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies to pay for goods? That number seems a little bit high to me. You know what I'm saying? 10%? Could be, but if it's true, good news. We have to look into that one a little bit more. But the one thing that we do notice is that last week, Bitcoin did break another record in terms of trading volume for Venezuela. So last week, particularly noteworthy, we saw 2,500 Bitcoin on local Bitcoin, which is a new record. Right? Measured in Bitcoin, the weekly volume achieved an all-time high, equivalent to almost $9 million US. Trading volumes on Venezuela's P2P Bitcoin market currently exceed the volume of the country's largest stock exchange by 157 times. It should also be noted that local Bitcoin volumes represent just a small part of the total Bitcoin trades performed by the Venezuelans, who also use services offered by centralized exchanges. And the one thing that I want you guys to know as well is all this volume that happens on localbitcoins.com, that is not reflected in the market. It is not reflected in the market cap on CoinMarketCap. So you have to think about that. Imagine if they were doing these on exchanges. You know, you might actually see some bigger price fluctuations than what we're actually seeing right now. And the price of Bitcoin might actually be much higher than where it is right now if it wasn't for all this OTC, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about, speaking on institutional money coming in, et cetera, you know, all this different stuff. Well, if you look at digital asset management fund Grayscale, they released their reports for Q4 2018, and they reported that institutions actually accounted for the majority of the investments at 66%. That's a shock, right? We were like, where's Wall Street? When are they coming in? Well, it says 66% of them that's what it accounted for, right? So investors were almost exclusively based in the US, around 99%, although full year statistics indicate a more distributed geography with 33% offshore. So overall, the fund notes that there has been a deceleration of new inflows into crypto. Not surprised. Nonetheless, they said that their Q4 investments at 30.1 million was substantially better. Actually, it says it's nearly twice the inflow of the previous 4 years combined. So it's still up, but obviously it's a little down because obviously we're in a bear market, you know, and people are skeptical to buy and stuff, right? A further trend that reports identities is the return of the Bitcoin maximalism. So this is an interesting thing to consider as well. 88% of new inflows were into Grayscale's Bitcoin investment, with investments into non-Bitcoin products slowing significantly. So for the entire year, the Bitcoin Trust accounted for 67%, with 33% of the capital going into other cryptos. But one thing I do want to say, speaking, just kind of getting on off topic about the Lightning Network, you have Eric Demuth. He's the CEO of Bitpanda. He said, "I will order a Tesla Model 3 the minute Elon Musk accepts my offer and takes over the Lightning Trust torch. Also, add a stank meme of your choice on it if desired." He says, "I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse," right? Now, one thing else I want to talk about today, guys, people are talking about these Binance delistings that are happening. So you're seeing coins getting delisted, right? So why are coins getting delisted? Well, they say some of the reasons could include commitment of team to project, level and quality of development, network smart contract stability, level of public communication, responsiveness to our periodic due diligence requests, evidence of unethical, fraudulent conduct, or contribution to a healthy and sustainable crypto ecosystem, or not, I should say, right? So they are delisting Cloak, Mod, Salt, Substratum, and Wings. So there you guys go. Do what you will with that information. I don't think the Substratum delisting really comes as much of a surprise. I think a lot of people have been really concerned about Substratum for quite some time. The other delisting also kind of came as a shock, Cloak, considering that you had this just over at Binance Blockchain Week that happened just the other day. These guys are all excited. Not only great event, but doing so much for crypto and for Cloak Coin. Finally got to meet CZ. So what exactly happened between then and now that these are getting delisted? Cloak. So interesting. So there you guys go. It sucks, but it happens, man. It happens. So also, before we get on, I just wanted to talk about this because a lot of people it was 2 days ago, somebody was asking me about crypto kitties and how you could get involved because we were looking at the prices of the crypto kitties, right? So this is actually a list that was made on Medium, and it's the 50 best blockchain games. So I figured I would just drop this for you guys. It's like literally just tons of games. Obviously, crypto kitties at the top. World of Ether, EOS Knights. I mean, literally, there's just tons of games, guys. So if you're into blockchain gaming or it's something that you would like to consider trying out, here's 50 you could try right now. So I will drop that below. Now, do we have another exit scam on our hands? Yeah, I don't know, but it's possible, okay? So we have Autonomy. Now, I never really followed this project. I was never really big into this, but it was a very, very large ICO back last year. They raised $25 million. As you can see right here, the returns are absolutely abysmal. The coin has literally just gone down. Let's see. I mean, I don't know. Has it gone even lower since then? Oh, it's up. It's up. Can you believe it's up? After the news. People will pump coins for anything. But anyway, I want to get to this because this has been floating around the Telegram group, and I want to read this to you. I know this video is going a little bit long today, guys. It happens. Sometimes we have longer videos. Sometimes we have short ones. Sometimes we have long ones. But so this is from Danny. He says, this is a screenshot that was in my Telegram. You could see it. But it says, I was forced to quit Autonomy because of many reasons. I joined as a founder to build a blockchain company. Once ICO money was certain, I don't know who this guy is, Vaughn began to remove me from the project and wanted to use funds for Sentry, which was failing. Vaughn was fired, and the new CEO did not want anything to do with crypto. The new CEO also combined Sentry and Autonomy into one company so the ICO fund could pay for the Sentry payroll, which was 30 people or so. New CEO would not recognize me as a founder or executive of Autonomy because he turned Autonomy into a project of Sentry so he could pay Sentry bills. Then he fired everyone tied to the project. I received no tokens at all. I was promised tokens by Vaughn and the board, but was never given a single token. Once I began to see these actions, I wanted nothing to do with this company, and I will not accept tokens. The new CEO hired his sister and son and paid them with ICO funds. Do I need to keep going? I want nothing to do with this company. I left in August and served the rest of my advisor agreement through October. Busy working means busy using ICO funds to pay for Sentry. There is no one at Autonomy with blockchain experience or skills anymore. Everyone was forced to quit or were fired. Now, here is one of the big, this isn't even just this. The other thing that people, we're going to have to see how this develops, obviously. This is just very new, okay, very new breaking stuff. But here's the kicker. If you scroll to the bottom of their website, okay, and I'm going to pull this up so you can see this. You guys see this address here? Okay, 10002 Aurora Avenue North, Suite 36, whatever, okay? I took this and put this into Google, okay? Look at this. This is the exact address right here. It's the address for a UPS store. Like, look, you can see contact for Autonomy right here, and then it literally is the address for a UPS store. You can't make this stuff up, okay? So is it an exit scam? It sounds like one to me, but or that, or just a completely horribly managed project. But yeah, so that's basically that situation, guys. Crazy news that's been circulating. Getting on to some topics, because I know you guys want to get out of here. I don't want to keep this video going for way too long. So we have 22 startups selected for batch 4 of the Supply Chain Innovation Program at Plug and Play. And check this out. If you come down here, one of them is a blockchain project, Morpheus Network. That's right. Awesome to see that. So that's pretty cool news. Just wanted to kind of mention that super quick. We also have major Canadian crypto exchange Coinsquare has acquired StellarX, which is a Stellar XLM-based zero-free decentralized payment network. According to the announcement, Bermuda-based StellarX will be fully owned as a subsidiary of Coinsquare and will seek regulatory approval to operate and expand its service under Coinsquare's compliance. We also have 24 arrested in connection with a 2.4 million crypto exchange hack in Turkey, although they would not release the information of what exchange it was, but it's nice to see that, you know, these criminals are, you know, getting the justice that they deserve. Now, this is funny. This is a funny one. So over 150 people have bought, not really funny, but lighthearted. Over 150 people bought pizza with Bitcoin this week using the Lightning Network. So the crypto payment startup Fold, which launched their web-based Domino's portal on Wednesday, basically makes fiat pizza purchases on behalf of hungry Lightning users. So basically they say, we're trying to make Bitcoin fun again and illustrate that the Lightning Network is at a point where it is mainstream ready. So basically, what these guys do is they just instantly convert it for these other guys. So the web app is also planning to integrate in the next 6 months Starbucks, Whole Foods, Dunkin' Donuts, Target, and Uber. So as I was saying, since these aren't official partnerships, they basically place orders on users' behalf and then convert payments to fiat to offer a seamless experience. I'm sure there's a fee involved of some sort, right? They say the average purchase is usually $25, and according to the website 1ML, the overall network set new record highs this week with more than 26,588 payment channels able to facilitate $2.4 million, which is a 39% increase on the Lightning Network compared to last month. Also, the cool thing is that they said that orders came from all states all across the US, so it wasn't just one area. Obviously, a lot of different people are using it. Now, the one thing I do want to say is that they currently serve 1,500 monthly users, facilitating roughly 35,000 total Bitcoin transactions since the first version of the app back in 2014. It doesn't seem like a lot of users for an app that's been around for 5 years, or 4.5 years, whatever. But anyway, the largest barrier to conversion, they said, was setting up the Lightning Network wallet. They said there were roughly 1,500 orders, but only a 10% conversion rate because people struggled to use Lightning Network enabled Bitcoin wallet. So that's going to be an issue moving forward, guys. Getting these people to figure out how to actually use these things, right? It's difficult. Some of them are very complicated, right? So also want to talk about Liechtenstein Post AG, which is the country's official postal service, plans to offer cryptocurrency exchange services at their physical locations. According to an official announcement, the postal service will allow customers to exchange their fiat to Bitcoin in one of its offices in the country's capital. After purchasing Bitcoin, the customers will get a physical wallet, generating public and private keys. Later, the service will likely be extended to other post offices all over the country. The announcement notes, moreover, they will also look to add support for coins such as Ethereum, Litecoin, and XRP in the future. And finally, I couldn't end the video without giving a shout out to Wyoming. Crypto advocates are celebrating today because the U.S. state of Wyoming has passed a bill giving direct property rights to cryptocurrency holders. Congratulations, Wyoming. So, Bill SF-0125 passed its second and third Senate readings February 13th and 14th respectively, and now go before Governor Mark Gordon for endorsement, becoming law as early as next week. So the legislation allows Wyoming residents to own crypto tokens with complete legal protection instead of only going through, third-party storage. So as former Wall Street veteran and Wyoming Blockchain Coalition member Caitlin Long notes, the decision should enact a chain reaction of interest from consumers and businesses. So comparing Wyoming to New York, Caitlin was already forecasting a shifting of preference among market participants. Wyoming protects property rights, and for institutional investors who must own indirectly, it protects investors far better than New York does. Damn, New York. Have fun watching the transfer of capital away from New York and into Wyoming in the coming years, especially as securities are increased as they're issued on blockchain. So yeah, we know New York is not really very friendly, guys, but what are you going to do? That's the news for the day. No wonder Cardano's moving to Wyoming. So that is it for me today, guys. That is enough. This has been an extremely long video. I know there's going to be some comments below, like you need to shorten the videos, guys. I tried today, but that is why we have timestamps below. You can hop to any part of the video you want. That is the beauty of literally being able to drag your finger across and just go wherever you want. So that being said, I want to say thank you so much to everyone that's been coming back to the channel, everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting, joining the Crypto Zombies Telegram, signing up for the blockchain brief. And guys, obviously using the referral links definitely helps the channel. Keeping your crypto safe on your ledger devices. If you use my links, it definitely helps me out, guys. But I don't require that. All I need is your love and your support and to just show up. And that's enough for me, guys. It's freaking Friday. Go enjoy yourself. What are you still watching this video for? That being said, guys, my name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, hopefully we'll make a shorter video. Stay crypto and peace out.